You have 400 pages of stress test data and a structural design that accounts for every pound of pressure. Yet the whole project stops because one person across a Formica desk decides they don't feel like signing off. As an architect, you spent months refining a net-zero urban development. It hits every possible metric for success, from the carbon footprint to the local economic stimulus. Then, you meet the roadblock. A municipal clerk denies the entire multi-million-dollar permit because of a 2-millimeter discrepancy on a setback line. We build our world on the assumption that physics and hard data carry the final word. This is the logic of objective truth, the belief that if the gravity and the math are correct, the argument is settled. But the math doesn't account for the person behind the desk. Your structural data is useless against a human being who is unmotivated by your engineering or your deadline. Hard facts prove where a building stands, but they have zero leverage against a wall of administrative apathy. Back at the firm, senior management is in a panic. They aren't interested in the setback lines or the carbon-neutral goals. They want you to cut corners and bypass the standards to get the stamp. This is corporate truth, a framework where the spreadsheet is the only reality. The engineering integrity of the building matters less than the speed of the return on investment. You see another layer in the office. When my design partner transitioned, the studio elite swapped their pronouns and adjusted their posture. This outermost layer of performative truth is the social render used to avoid friction. But watch them closely. You see the cognitive lag, the split second their internal map struggles to catch up. The script masks their confusion. The project is stalled because every stakeholder is living in a different, self-serving illusion. The facts aren't the problem. The problem is that no one is sharing the same reality. When the data, the profit motives, and the social scripts all fail to move the project forward, you hit a dead end. This leads back to René Descartes. In his search for a foundation that couldn't be doubted, he famously landed on cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. To Descartes, the undeniable reality is the existence of the thinking thing. If your own awareness is the only thing you can be sure of, then you must recognize that every person you meet is also their own isolated center of consciousness. You look at the clerk again. He isn't a malicious obstacle. He is a conscious being currently preoccupied with self-preservation. If he makes a mistake on that setback line, his own sense of security and career safety disappears. Moving the project requires you to stop shouting about the data and address the person trying to survive behind the stamp. You return to the municipal office. This time, you don't mention the carbon-neutral footprint or the engineering awards. You reframe the setback discrepancy using the clerk's own language, pre-cleared administrative precedents. You give him the documentation he needs to feel safe from liability. The roadblock vanishes. The permit is approved immediately, and you didn't have to change a single physical detail of the building's design. This quiet shift in perspective aligns with the Eastern concept of karuna, or compassion. Karuna is an act of humility. You step off the pedestal of being right and observe the specific administrative terror the other person is trying to survive. Progress happens when we stop demanding the world conform to our blueprints and start recognizing the defensive truths of the people in front of us.